Going to have a really interesting basketball conversation on today's Golden State Warriors today. I'm Chase Sr. We're going to take a look at some lineups that the Warriors can use following the peak of NBA free agency and after the trade for Chris Paul. Keep in mind that the Warriors have 13 guaranteed contracts right now on the team for 2023-2024. That leaves 2 open roster spots. So we have a pretty good idea of what lineup combination Steve Kerr could have at his disposal, and we put together 6 to be exact. First, though, let's begin with this. If you think the Warriors can compete for an NBA championship this upcoming season, I want you to hit that thumbs up icon and like the video. If not, I want you to comment why. Show off that basketball intellect down in the comment section right now. So the projected starting lineup, this is what I think Steve Kerr will go with more times than not. Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Andrew Wiggins, Draymond Green, Kevon Looney. When healthy, this was the go-to starting lineup for the Warriors last year. You can mess around and have Draymond at that 5, take Looney out, maybe put in CP3 from time to time, and switch things up to a certain degree, right? But it's just not sustainable to not have a true center on the floor in today's NBA. So that's the projected starting 5 that I think we'll see the most out of. As for other returning pieces for the Warriors, Jonathan Kuminga, Moses Moody, Gary Payton II, some veteran additions, the trade for Chris Paul, the free agent signing of Dario Saric, brought in Cory Joseph, who's a very good defender. The young additions for this team, first-round pick Brandin Podziemski, Trayce Jackson-Davis, and then Lester Quinones, the former Memphis Tiger who's been getting buckets throughout the NBA Summer League. So right now, I kind of like where the Warriors are as a collective basketball unit heading into 2023-2024. But what do you want the Warriors starting lineup to be? More thoughts on that coming up here in just a few moments on today's Golden State Warriors Today. So we took a look at the projected starting lineup. That's the lineup that I think Steve Kerr is going to go with. If you agree with me, let me know. If you disagree with me, let me know. But the Warriors have a lot of different versatile lineup options at their disposal, like this double point guard lineup, where Chris Paul and Steph Curry can both bring the ball up the floor. This gives you 2 guys who can pressure the rim, 2 guys who can initiate the offense, and 2 guys who can set others up to put the ball in the hole. They can also create for themselves in trying to score the basketball. This is a lineup that I think Steve Kerr might experiment with on a substitution pattern, not often as a starting lineup. Now, if Steve Kerr goes with this lineup from time to time and a handful of times throughout the season, it won't shock me, but it's not sustainable to have Draymond Green playing the 5 on a consistent basis. Defensively, I don't hate it. Klay, still an above-average defender. Draymond Green, an all-NBA caliber defender. And Andrew Wiggins, one of the best wing defenders in the league. But CP3 and Steph Curry would get hunted a lot by opposing offenses, and then Draymond Green would simply be undersized. Now, Steph Curry playing alongside Chris Paul, he can do it, he can succeed, he can flourish. And honestly, I think it helps Steph Curry to a certain degree, just keeping him fresh. As for this double point guard lineup with a big, I think that Steve Kerr might go with this lineup from time to time as well, again, to take some of the load, take some of the burden off Steph, because he needs it at 35 years old. So you go double point with the big, you don't lack as much size, you still have shooting with Steph, Klay, and a little bit from Chris Paul. Kevon Looney not going to stretch the floor, so he's going to stay down low. And then Draymond Green can do his thing. This gives you a lot of different options on both ends of the floor. As for the second unit, this is if you go with that projected starting 5, and then everybody else needs a breather. Steve Kerr subs everybody out, and he empties the bench here. CP3 runs the point. Moses Moody, knockdown shooter, really like what he did against the Los Angeles Lakers, showing shot-making ability, but also really solid defense. Jonathan Kuminga, the uber athlete, hopefully he's able to put it all together as a guy who has boatloads of potential. Gary Payton II, I like him as a player. I didn't like how the Warriors had to give up James Wiseman to bring him back, because basically they admitted that they flunked on the James Wiseman pick and they failed in letting Gary Payton II walk. They were like, we're not going to give him that much money. Let him go to the Portland Trail Blazers. And then they brought him back, even on that same contract. And then you have Dario Saric holding it down on that low block, a little bit undersized here. But I like the versatility here. Chris Paul as the primary ball handler, distributor. Moses Moody stretching the floor. Gary Payton II, good defense. Jonathan Kuminga, very athletic. And then Dario Saric kind of taking over for Draymond Green here as a guy who can pass out of the high post, also knock down some threes as well, as he shot about 39% from distance last year. More lineups to get to here, but first, we're telling you once again about this deal thanks to our friends at Fanatics. A lot of Warriors fans have reached out and said, hey, I watched the show. This deal fantastic for this t-shirt combo. Get on board. Join the movement. Chatsports.com/Dubs combo. We put that link in the comment section and in the description of this video. Now, let's get a little bit creative. Let's get a little bit interesting here. Chris Paul, Cory Joseph, Jonathan Kuminga, Gary Payton II, and Dario Saric. Why could this lineup be a lineup that Steve Kerr could go with? Well, Jonathan Kuminga can be a high-level defender. So too can GP2. Cory Joseph is known for playing very, very good defense. And then Chris Paul can once again be the floor general here. And I think that CP3 might enjoy this role because if he's not going to start, which he might not be happy with to begin the season, he still is going to have a lot of responsibilities as a captain, as a leader, as a guy who needs to initiate things and put people in positions in order to succeed. So Cory Joseph can play point. He can also play the two. He also shot the ball pretty well from three-point range. And then here with this next lineup, CP3 can be the absolute general. He can bark at guys, which sometimes he really likes to do, and put people in their place. This is an extremely young lineup. The two rookies with Brandin Podziemski and Trayce Jackson-Davis. And then you have two third-year guys and Jonathan Kuminga as well as Moses Moody. I'm excited to see the impact of CP3 with a lineup like this because he's been able to maximize talent around him. And then if it's a blowout or if the Warriors are on the back end of a road trip and they want to rest all of their marquee players, how about we let the youngins cook here? Where Brandin Podziemski, whose playmaking has actually really impressed me throughout the NBA Summer League, he runs your point. You have Lester as your two guard, and he can fulfill the role of Jordan Poole where he can basically chuck from anywhere. Shoot, he's done that to high levels of success throughout the NBA Summer League. Trayce Jackson-Davis can be that floor-running big who's good on both ends of the floor, really flashed on both ends in college at Indiana. Maybe Jonathan Kuminga and Moses Moody are asked to do a little bit more, and this allows them to breathe in their development. You hand them the keys and you say, you know what, young fellas, you're going into year 3. You've been a little bit inconsistent. We keep talking about this potential. Put that potential together and let's see what you can do and rise up to the occasion because you're going to have to do so with this young lineup here. So we took a look at a multitude of different lineups. We went deep into the basketball bag. Let's ask you this to round the show out. What is your favorite lineup that we talked about here today? And let us know another lineup that we didn't discuss. I want to see your basketball knowledge down in the comment section because that's what we do here at Chat Sports.